All right, welcome back. This is video 6 of satisfied customers are the bare minimum. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about raving fans and how those are built on purpose. So raving fans don't just happen by accident. They're built with intentionality. You have to think through how you want to walk a potential customer, and then after the fact, turning that person to a raving fan. You have to think through that in a progression from before you ever even interact with them all the way through first contact, estimates, different conversations, job, and then even post-job. We talked about that in some of the first 5 videos on different ways that can happen and what that looks like. But it's a progression. It doesn't just happen. There's intentional acts, there's intentional thoughts, systems, frameworks that you put into place to walk a customer through that whole process. And so that at the end, they're not just satisfied, which is the bare minimum of what they should be, but they turn into a raving fan or an advocate that really goes out and pushes your business, spreads the word, and even brings you in revenue into your business, which we have been able to do with a lot of customers in our old business that we sold. And even now, we're starting to really get that flowing and some of the other things that we're involved in. And so it really does work when you're intentional and you do it with a purpose. And so one of the real things that you need to think through is your follow-up systems and what that looks like, if it's your CRM or whatever you're going to use to make that happen. But a lot of times, especially if we'll start working with a client and they're getting leads or we get them leads, and then when they don't sign up and say yes right away, they just let it go. So whatever your customer acquisition cost is, whether it's $20, $50, $100, $300, you spent that money, you've acquired the potential for a customer, and then you reach out and they don't say yes right away. And then instead of putting them into a follow-up automation or a nurture sequence or something to keep that contact, keep touch points, stay top of mind, you let them just fall off because they didn't say yes right away. And now whatever that monetary value that you had to spend to even attract them as a lead, you've just let it be burned up. It's gone. So you waste a lot of money that way. And for some people listening to this, you're like, yeah, duh, why wouldn't you do that? But a lot of people don't think about it. It's just not something they think about. And again, especially in the home services, like I said in a different video, lots of us are very good at our trade. We're proficient at what we do, whether that's plumbing, electrical, HVAC, whatever it is. That's what we're really good at, but we don't necessarily know how or have the time to do all the back end things that can really help us grow, organize, and even expand our businesses. And so things like this are a huge part of that, because you can set it up, and once it's set it up, it can, for the most part, handle itself with just a little bit of guidance from either yourself or administrator or secretary, whoever you have helping you. But you can really handle a lot of things that way if you can build out those automations. And so that's an easy way that when you go through that, you're taking care of people and you're communicating with them, and they don't feel like you've just forgotten about them, or you just, since they didn't buy, you just tossed them out because you're done with them because they didn't buy. Those things are really important, and we hear those things, and we've heard those things in the past too from people where it's like, hey, I reached out to 4 people and then something happened, life happens, car broke down, kid had an expense, whatever it is, and I had to postpone it for 4 or 5 months. And when I came back around to it, I couldn't remember who I talked to. And so I just called, and then the people who came out, I was ready to go. I wanted to get done, we got done. And so you can lose out on business just by not following up, just by not staying in contact and staying top of mind, which is so important. And you can do that in a variety of ways. It doesn't always have to be like, hey, send me some money. You ready to do this? There's other ways you can do it that are more personable. You can send information. You can send educational things. You can send them home improvement ideas and tips and trends through your blogs. There's lots of things that you can do just to stay top of mind and stay current and still provide value without just saying like, hey, you ready to spend some money yet? And so you have to get creative with those things. And then another big thing is, are you making referrals easy? Are you easy to refer? And so some of the things we talked about in previous videos in 1 through 5, if you go back and watch those, are different things like job site conduct? Are you clean? Do you keep the job site clean? Does your equipment look clean? Does your trailer, your truck, is everything organized and put together? So when they come out, people are like, wow, they're really on top of this. Do you look professional? Are you wearing branded gear? Does everyone match? Um, you know, how organized is your truck? How clean is your truck? Is everyone using acceptable language on a job site? Obviously, when you get into the home services and construction and different things, that is a normal thing to hear language, but build your culture different, build your standard different in your company, and it'll set your brand apart. Whenever people have this flawless experience, it's great customer service, the whole customer journey from start to finish is excellent, the on-site job conduct and the quality of the product or service you deliver is top notch. When you put all those things together, that really starts to build a brand that you can stay booked out, you can get booked out, stay booked out, and eventually be able to charge more money and still have people want to come to you because they trust you'll do it right. And there's always going to be a good, better, and best market. There's always a premium service, a mid-tier service, and a cheap service. And brand can help you creep up into that more premium level service. But if you have a bad brand, you're going to be floating in the cheap service to maybe the mid-tier service. But if you want to be able to have premium service, have premium clients, you have to build a brand around that. And a lot of these things that I've been discussing are going to filter into that. And so, do you make yourself referable? Are you referable? Or is your crew referable? Are they smoking cigarettes on the job site, throwing them in the yard, leaving trash sitting out? Are they showing up late? Are they communicating? Are you guys letting people know when you're on your way? If there's a change or a cancellation or a delay, are you letting them know, hey, we hit an accident, we're going to be about 45 minutes. We're stuck in traffic. We'll see you soon. We're so excited to get started. And again, those are little things that you can easily crank out, and it keeps them in the loop, and it keeps not just communication, but over communication to where they know you're on top of it. They know you care. They feel like you're really getting like all the effort you can, and it heightens the experience. And some people are hearing this right now and they're like, okay, whatever. We do a good job. Trust me, you will hit a plateau and you will be stuck. You will be right there and you will not progress. You will not build a brand that you can charge premium prices for. You will not have a brand that you can put systems and build things on the back end to make it something that you could exit at some point. You'll get stuck to where whenever it's time for you to be done, you're going to have to just walk away more than likely. You have to build things. You have to build a brand and systems and put stuff in place to make it worth something, to make it tangible, and to make it to where people go out and want to tell people that they worked with you, and they want to tell people they should work with you. So, it's one of those things where you never hear someone say, yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah, you should work with them. They're fine. People don't do that because if you don't give them something that's outstanding to cling on to, if you're not undeniable in some sense, they're going to be hard to refer you because they're putting their badge of approval, their stamp of approval on you. And if they don't trust that you're going to deliver for their friends, family, coworkers, whoever it is, they're not going to endorse you. So these things really matter because it turns into a way that you can funnel new leads into your business from ideal clients, bringing you more ideal clients who are ready to buy, very low cost of acquisition. And then once you have them, it's a high ROI. So you have good margins on those jobs. It's not costing you the time and the money and the effort like all the other things. And then they continue to filter people in. We've had tons of clients that sent us thousands of jobs per year individually that we didn't have to go track down, spend time on. It was, hey, no, you already work with them. We saw everything you did. Give us a price. Tell us when you can do it. It's yours. And it's done like that. That's branding. That's raving fans. That's creating that ability to have people go out and advocate for your business. And all these little things add up, and they're so easy to do, but they're just as easy not to do. And that's the problem. But when you can start to implement these things, you start to build a long-term reputation. And so it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take, if you're lucky, 18 months, 12 to 18 months to really get this stuff going. And depending on the size of your business, you can accelerate that a little bit if you have the means to be able to do more digitally. But you can accelerate that to an extent. But part of the equation is time. But again, Are you in it for a buck today? Or are you in this for the long term? Are you trying to build a business and build a brand that you can run for years and then hand it off to a kid, or run for years and then sell it and exit it and have something that's worth something on the back end that you can pull money out of after you've already built this thing? And so the long-term reputation, it compounds, but it compounds by doing all these things and making yourself referable. So just remember that referrals are a system. They're not a personality trait. So if you're just kind of letting it come as they come and you're not really trying, and sometimes people give them, sometimes they don't, that's going to be tough to scale that and to really build that. You have to have a system in place that you follow. And once you put that in motion, it really does start to work by itself, and you just have to follow the game plan. And it makes it very, very easy. So put the system in place to be able to build referrals, to be able to get raving fans, and to be able to take satisfied customers, which is your bare minimum. You should never strive for that. That is the bare minimum. So take satisfied customers and turn them into raving fans that advocate for your business and bring money into your business. Hopefully this was helpful, guys. Again, this was video 6. Raving fans are built on purpose. There's 5 other ones before this. And so just be on the lookout. We'll probably have some more coming out on some different topics.